For assignment 1, we give you a zip file that contains starter code and a checker program. In this video, we'll go over the contents of that zip file, and I'll explain how to run the checker program and interpret the results. You're going to add your assignment solution to tweet.py. When you unzip the starter code that's provided with the assignment, tweet.py is in the same folder as a1checker.py, checkerhelpers.py, and a folder named PyTA. It's really important that you leave tweet.py in that location within the same folder so that you can run the A1 checker program properly. I've opened up the tweet.py starter code and the A1 checker program. Now I'm going to run the A1 checker program. Because we're running it to check just the starter code and the starter code is incomplete, we're going to see some errors. So we'll open up the A1 checker, click run, and now we see some results. So first, one of the most important things to notice is that you need to scroll up to see all of the results. So let's scroll up to the very top. There are two parts to these results. The first part is the coding style. Coding style will be worth 20% of your assignment 1 mark. And the style checker that you're given as part of this checker program is the same style checker that will run when you're marking your assignment. Let's examine the errors that we got from the style checking part of the program. There are two style and convention errors, and they're both related to our starter code and the fact that it's incomplete. We have a function named isValidTweet as part of the starter code. Let's take a look at that. In tweet.py, there is a function named isValidTweet. And we have a function header and docstring, but the body of the function is empty and hasn't been defined. Because of that, there's this parameter text that's not being used within the body of the function. And that's what the style error is about. It says that the argument text is unused. Next, there's another error saying that we import the math module, but it isn't used yet in our program. So both of these things are just related to the fact that our tweet.py file is currently incomplete. You can visit this website about PyTA to learn more about the particular error messages and see examples of when they occur. This is a good place to start to learn about the different messages in order to identify the problem and resolve it in your code. So that was the style checker part of the checker program. And now let's look at the other part, which is the type checker. For this part of the checker, the goal is to check the type contracts for functions. We basically are checking whether the functions are named correctly, whether they have the right number of parameters, and whether they return the right types. At the moment, there are many errors because our tweet.py file doesn't contain several of the required functions. We can see that there are functions like add mention exclusive, compare tweet lengths that are missing from our tweet.py module right now. Also an error related to the isValidTweet function. That's the one we looked at before that had the header and docstring but no function body. This error says that the isValidTweet function should return a Boolean, but it doesn't return anything. It returns none. This error can be resolved by implementing the function body and returning the correct type. That's the end of the type contract portion of the checker program. Notice that the type contract part of the checker does not actually check that the functions return the right values, only the right types. You need to call on your functions and test them, just like we've been doing in the function design recipe, to make sure that they are returning the expected values. Test your code thoroughly, because we will run a thorough set of tests on your code once the assignment deadline has passed. Correctness is worth 80% of your assignment 1 mark, and the tests that we use for correctness are not part of this checker program. We'll run a different set of tests, so you need to make sure that you test your code thoroughly before you submit your work.